Hello everyone! This week we are learning about molas, which is a beautiful fabric garment. It's like a shirt that is made by the Guna people of Panama. It's really important to their culture and tradition, and they have these amazing colorful designs. For our lesson, we're going to be using paper, and we're going to be creating a symbol or an image to start with as our silhouette. I'm going to begin with a fish as my symbol. I will say if I made this again, I would make the fish larger. I ended up having a little bit too much background space. So maybe use the size of your hand to start your beginning design. We're doing it on a scratch piece of paper. That way we can change it as we need to. And when you're done, I'm going to lay that scratch paper design on top of my first color. So my first color will be black. So my background is black and my first color is going to be black. So carefully cut around it. You can trace if you have a hard time holding yours still. Now for step 2, you're going to glue it on your second color. So my second color is yellow. And I was showing there, you're going to glue it towards the edge, not in the center, so we're not wasting paper. When you cut it the second time, you're leaving a little strip of that new color showing. So this is different than the way I just cut it before. Repeat this same step 2 more times. So I'll back it in blue, and then I back it in pink. And so you can see what I was talking about. I think I would have made my fish a little bit larger. You're going to glue this stacked center design right in the middle. I like to rub the back of the art just to really make sure things are stuck down very well. And go back and make sure all of the layers are glued nicely. Alright, now for the background part, you're going to use all of your colorful construction paper and you're going to create some designs. So I'm first going to focus on adding some details to the fish. And that's why it's nice to have my little white pattern piece, because I can kind of use that as a tool to help me make the correct shapes. So for me, I'm making an orange head on my fish and just cutting a little bit smaller so that way I can see a little bit of black around that orange. Think about other things that you can add out of just paper. So for me, I'm also going to be adding some scales, and then I think I also eventually added an eye and some fish fins. So that's what you can see me doing here. I'm just trying to add some bright details. Maybe on your animal, though, it's going to be like the arms and the legs might be a different color, or the tail's going to have a colored pattern to it. Once you're done adding the details to the animal itself, you're going to start working on the background. And for the background shapes, you can use spirals, squares, thick lines, patterns. And so you can see here I'm kind of making these like square spirals. And then another nice thing to make is just lines. And so I end up making all of my lines rounded, but you don't have to do that extra step. I mean, you can just cut strips of paper and glue them down in alternating fashion. So you can see I have a second piece of paper for gluing, just so I don't get glue on my table surface. And here's those like dash lines I was talking about. So I round out the edges. Again, you don't have to. And you can kind of alternate the length of them and the direction of them. You can even use other things like circles or triangles or wavy lines to help fill in your mola. Just so that way there's a lot of different repetition and pattern. So you can see with mine, I got some dots, I got some swirls, I have some different lines. I hope you enjoy learning about this project.